Hey, beautiful people. What's good with you? Hey, this is Pastor Jackie. Good afternoon. I've been waiting on you, and the time has finally come. Man, oh man, oh man. It just seems like this big gap. I know I say it all the time, but listen, I'm excited about tonight. This is going to be an absolute blessing to you. I'm going to give people an opportunity to get signed on. I'm going to go get something to drink. Got some new folks that are going to be joining us tonight and all that. So just really looking forward to it. I'll be right back. Enjoy the music. Oh, wild berry and cheesecake is the scent for tonight. Oh man. See you in a minute. That timing worked out pretty good. Yeah. Got up there and handled some business and got on back down. Is this the one I want for you guys? Yeah. Can't have it too upbeat. Yeah. Got ourselves just about a minute. My wife wants me to open a pickle jar. All right, come on, baby. We got about a minute.
Just open it.
I got it. I don't want to get pickle. I'm just concerned I'm going to get pickle juice all over me.
Thank you.
Bye, girl. Oh. Now, I thought I reset this Corvette clock and we were in good shape. But apparently, I did not do a good enough job. I moved it like 2 minutes. I don't know. But hey, we are getting started. As always, welcome to the Urban Apologetics channel, Jackie Jackson Ministries Urban Apologetics channel. Glad that you are here with me. I am your host, your historian, your friend, desiring to do what I always say to make you the smartest person in the room as it pertains to this topic. Now, if you need somebody to teach you math, nah, don't fool with me, man. I'll get you all jacked up. But if you're trying to learn about Black biblical history, if you're trying to understand, how this topic works and all that's, historical, and I mean, tonight we're getting into DNA and all of that stuff, down here in the man cave with me is the place to be. And we are here every Monday at 8 o'clock. Now, got a few things that are going to be coming up. Like next week, I'm going to do a complete recap. I did my best to make it short tonight. In terms of information, I don't know how long we'll go, but I wanted to make sure that, last couple of weeks I've had to find a nice place to stop. And I'm hoping that that's, not the case tonight, because I've been trying to get to this stuff. All right, so here every Monday, here on Wednesday. Also, want you to know I am on Facebook and YouTube. Jackie Jackson, Facebook, and Urban Apologetics channel, not the Urban Apologetics channel on YouTube. I don't know if I said that backwards or not, just getting through this stuff, but you've seen some of this before. Just make sure that you like and subscribe. Okay, want to remind you of something that we are taking a look at doing, or have been doing, on Wednesdays. And I want you to be able to get in on it. And I'm going to show you how to make that happen, or tell you how to make that happen. Did a wonderful story last Wednesday. It was just absolutely, I haven't stopped thinking about it. A wonderful woman who was, took on the responsibility of her siblings and finished raising them so they wouldn't end up, in foster care or whatever, wouldn't break up the family. And I don't know about all the siblings, but I know my brother-in-law is an awesome, awesome man. And so if you have a story of somebody that has impacted your life, family, a friend, a mentor, whatever, male or female, I've been doing the females so far, but male or female, you can contact me on Messenger, Jackie Jackson Messenger, and leave a short synopsis of what you want said. The person's first name is all I need, and I would prefer a photo. If that's not something you're comfortable with, that's fine. We can work our way around that. But male or female, if they've had an influence in your life, then we want an opportunity to be a blessing. I don't know if you heard me earlier or not, but man, this candle smells so daggone good. Wild berries cheesecake. Whew, man. Anyway, another little piece of station identification for the people that may be signing on for the first time tonight. That Our purpose, we have young black men and women when they become adults that are walking away from the church. They have no apologetic. Yeah, no way of defending when someone says the Bible is the white man's gospel. They know all the Bible story, Daniel and the lion's den, and, this, that, the Exodus, Moses, all that. They know that stuff. But they don't know these people were black. And at the end of the day, what color Jesus was, it doesn't make a difference in whether or not he can save you. But it does make a difference as whether or not some people will even approach it because they believe, or can't defend that it's the white man's gospel. So I just wanted to make sure that we remember the depth, the reason why we're doing this. Jesus says that the Bible says there is neither Greek, there's no slave, free man, there's neither male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. That's the way God sees us. And we've got to right, R-I-G-H-T, the story, the lies that have been told, so that we don't have people rejecting it or at some level feeling like they're not as included as somebody else may be. Right? And the end goal is that we love one another. That is a commandment of Jesus, that we all love each other. It's very important, that at the end of all of this, we know he loves us and we have shown that we love each other. Now, tonight is Science and the Bible Agree 4. So there are other videos that are on this topic. I have made a promise as we were walking through we went from Adam until Genesis chapter 10, looking at the genealogy of both Ham, Shem, and Japheth. We looked at that, but I said I was going to go back and give you DNA evidence. Well, there are, even though it was laced into those videos, there are other videos that have evidence for you to take a look at. The Bible and science are agreeing, and the more DNA information that we're getting, the more we see that the Bible has always been right, and science has always agreed. They are not in opposition of each other. Also want to say to you that tonight, it's going to be kind of soft. I always kind of put that in there, and I always mark my videos for the most part as for adults only. A couple of reasons. I want you to be able to teach your own kids the way that you want to teach them Black biblical history, the way that you want to teach them the pieces of history that you give to them. So I want to make sure that is your choice in how you do it. Hopefully you won't avoid doing it, but your choice in how you do that with your kids. All right. We're going to do a bit of a recap and getting to some of the things we talked about last time. We looked at, and there's a bunch of pictures that go along with this, and I'm just going to try not to go down this rabbit trail because we've covered this well. But the origin of everybody, no matter where they are, China, Japan, all throughout Europe, Australia, which is what this picture is talking about. The origin of man began in Africa. Piece of hair that's there on the right is proof. That's a piece of Aboriginal hair from Australia. They DNA tested the hair, and they found out that the Aboriginal people, just notice the hair is straight, Aboriginal people left Africa either just before or the same time that people like the Naku, who ended up in China. Now, Naku means Na, black, right? Ku at the Naki. Na means black, Ki means people, right? Black people. So as they tested these folks, and I've talked a lot about this, I'm trying to stop myself at this point. they've tested these folks and they understand where their origin is. But as you can see, just with the hair, they don't have the features of a typical African person. But when they got this piece of hair, I believe it was 1920, when they, or 21, somewhere around in there, when they got this piece of hair, when they DNA tested it, they tested it to see, and they didn't test it in 1920, sorry. They've had it since then, and they allowed it to be DNA tested. And what they discovered is the purity, the lack of mixing, the purity, the clear connection to Southern Africa. But the hair's straight. And we dealt with a bit of that last week. Took me 2 weeks to actually get there, but we dealt with a bit of that last week. And one of the things, I just wanted to point this out. I'm not trying to throw anybody off by talking about this. I do understand why we have some of the problems that we have. But when we talk about the European standard of beauty, that we talk about black folks that are moving or are affected by that, trying to assimilate themselves and be accepted in some ways. I understand where that comes from. I just want you to know that that doesn't have to necessarily, if it's been the motivation, doesn't have to be the motivation. Why? Because black folks had straight hair first. Right? So if I'm wearing an afro, it doesn't make me more black anyway. But I'm just trying to get you to understand that before white-skinned people had straight hair, there were black-skinned people that had straight hair. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. So we don't have to be, hard on each other because we have some sort of preference. Now, all hair, if it's done, there are a lot of beautiful hairstyles. Braids and wear your hair in an afro, but if you wear it straight, that doesn't mean that you're not, I'm somebody who's been accused of not being black enough at times. Right? I understand my culture, but I don't necessarily follow all of the rules. Right? I'm a black guy teaching black biblical history whose favorite Christian band is Third Day, a rock band. And for some folks that doesn't fit. If it's not all things black, that doesn't work for me. I'm not going to make myself like something that just to fit in. All right, I'm hoping you can see this, but anyway, we went over this before, so this is in another video. It's clear. This is the nomadic tribe called the Borana, or I've seen it spelled B-O-R-A-N-A and B-O-O-R-A-N-A, so or Buruna. Burana. All right, so they're a nomadic tribe, meaning they keep to themselves. Their bloodline is pure, and they go between Somalia, Ethiopia, and Kenya. And the thing about them that stands out is this: their hair is straight. There's a reason why. They don't have any idea what the European standard of beauty is. They may not even have any idea what Europeans are. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that's not what has affected their group and created a situation where they have straight hair. The two don't even relate. They're not teaching young girls to wear their hair straight. Matter of fact, they'll shave out the crown of the head when they're real young. I don't know what that tradition is all about, but they'll shave it kind of like you've seen some of the monks will look. It'll look kind of like that. But this is how they've done it. It ain't nothing. It ain't brain surgery. Clarified ghee. butter. And they use it over and over and over and over again till the hair is straight. They're not trying to be somebody else. I'm just trying to give you an idea that everything isn't, you don't have to prove who you are, all right? I'm doing a dual thing here. I don't know if you're catching it or not, but I'm trying to let you know you don't have to fit a standard, because there are people that look like you that have worn their hair in a particular way. But I'm also trying to get you to understand that there are people that look like you, if you're black, that look like you, that have worn their hair straight longer than anybody else has. And I think that's real important, all right? I was thinking about not giving you this, but you might need a moment because you never heard this before. But it's all moving towards understanding this. Man, I'm going to run out of green tea. All right, let's move on. So, blacks with blue eyes, is that a natural phenomenon? Is it a genetic mutation? I'll let you know in advance, there's no real answer to that. But let's watch this and we'll talk on the other side.
Waardenburg syndrome is a group of rare genetic conditions characterized by at least some degree of congenital hearing loss and pigmentation deficiencies, which can include bright blue eyes, a white forelock or patches of light skin. These basic features constitute type 2 of the condition. In type 1, there is also a wider gap between the inner corners of the eyes called telecanthus or dystopia cantharum. In type 3, which is rare, the arms and hands are also malformed, with permanent finger contractures or fused fingers, while in type 4 the person also has Hirschsprung's disease, which is a congenital lack of nerves in the intestines leading to bowel dysfunction. There also exist at least two types that can result in central nervous system symptoms such as developmental delay and muscle tone abnormalities. The syndrome is caused by mutations in any of several genes that affect the division and migration of neural crest cells during embryonic development. Neural crest cells are stem cells left over after the closing of the neural tube that go on to form diverse non-central nervous system cells in different parts of the body, including melanocytes, various bones and cartilage of the face, an inner ear and the peripheral nerves of the intestines. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you would like to view more of our videos. Have a nice day.
Waardenburg syndrome. Well, let me read this and we'll talk about it. Waardenburg occurs once in every 42,000 births and is a deficiency inherited from a single parent who may or may not display similar characteristics. Regarding the eye color abnormalities, come in three forms: heterochromia, multiple colors; bilateral isohypochromia, pale blue eyes; or fundus, reflective pigmentation alterations where there's spotting. Eyes are multicolors. Now that doesn't necessarily mean always that, you'll see in a moment. Let me not get ahead of myself. So this young man does have Waardenburg syndrome. He definitely has that. And you may see that with people that have blue eyes that also have, they can be white or black, but that's where that might come from. But listen, a dominant ACO2 mutations are frequently are a frequent cause of isolated optotrophy. Sorry, guys. I don't know where my brain just went. All right. So what this is saying is these mutations can occur. They happen. And that ACO2, that's something we need to pay attention to. And this is why. How does ACA2, gene, how does the ACA2 gene affect eye color? Several common variations. Polymorphism in the ACA2 gene reduces the amount, listen closely and I'll explain it, the amount of function P protein that is produced. Less P protein means there's less melanin. Melanin is always key with skin color and other things like that. Less melanin is present in the iris, leading to blue eyes instead of brown eyes, and people with polymorphism in this gene. All right, so if the body, if the body of someone that is a person of color releases its normal amount of melanin throughout the body, that's going to determine skin color, eye color, all of that. When it does not, then that's how a person can end up with blue eyes. The point of this is you don't have to have Waardenburg syndrome in order for your eyes to be blue. It doesn't mean you have a syndrome. I think the word mutation is kind of strong, but I get it. I get what they're saying. It doesn't mean, it's not the same as saying it's a defect. What it is saying is something didn't happen at the level it would normally happen in somebody that white folks have melanin, their bodies won't produce it, right? Nothing from nothing, as I sang to you many videos ago. You can't produce it, right? Listen. Two white people cannot produce a black child unless there is a recessive black gene with the necessary melanin in it so that child comes out with color. Now, I've seen a picture and had it out for you, a picture of a child who was coal black and both parents were pale. So while it can happen, it is not likely. However, just yesterday, when I preached at a man, I don't know, I know some people don't live in Cincinnati, but I was at Compass Community Church, man, and these are some of the nicest people. Their pastor is a great man of God, and I was talking to a young man who's probably listening, watching tonight, and he has one child. He's black, or at least, as my dad would say, got some black in him somewhere. He's got a child that's blonde. Another child that isn't. Hair is more of a brunette kind of color. Why are you getting two children like that? He and his wife, you can tell that they're people of color. Why is that happening? Because it's in the gene pool. And depending on two kids that might even be twins, depending on the amount of melanin that is released in each one of those children can determine eyes and all of that. Now, black folks can do that. It's all about melanin. So, yes, there is a syndrome, but it doesn't necessarily, if you see somebody with blue eyes. Now, if you've noticed, mine are blue tonight. But I had some help. These are the contacts that I wear when I ride my Harley, so I can wear whatever pair of sunglasses I want to. But I'll do anything for an illustration. So what I'm trying to get you to understand, the earrings are blue tonight, y'all. Shirt's blue, tie's blue. I'm just trying to make a point. I want you to think blue so that you get this. So that you don't automatically make an assumption that somebody's got a white parent, right? Or that there's some kind of syndrome that they have Waardenburg syndrome. That's not the case. Now, I don't know the history behind Vanessa Williams, but she's got blue eyes. But I would consider her as a person of color, wouldn't you? Her brother, same thing. A person of color. And there are other actors that we have that are people of color but have blue eyes. Now, I didn't read their origin, their history, all that stuff to find out where they came from. But what I do know is that it's possible. And neither parent has to be white in order for that to happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. African boy with blue eyes. This is a photo, perhaps the best example of a black African, listen, non-mulatto, non-albino, with blue eyes also. The boy in this picture does not appear to have Waterberg syndrome. Also a source of blue eyes in blacks. This leaves strong possibility of a rare mutation of an eye color gene. Here's something else that I found interesting. I'll be back on camera in a little bit. What I found interesting is they're saying 10,000 years ago that this kind of stuff began by the Black Sea. Well, that might seem problematic to somebody other than you, because you've been hanging with me, right? If you haven't watched some of my videos, you need to watch. You need to take a look at these origin stories, because this otherwise, if they're around the Black Sea, well, that's Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Georgia, the Eastern Bloc. But as we've discovered in our study, looking at DNA evidence, I did it in a general study as well as this science and the Bible agreeing piece. I got into even more detail where they have found the remains of people. Russia, Ukraine, Spain, England. Cheddar Man was in one of the other earlier pictures I showed you. For those that are fresh, let me put that up and I'll get back to our map. Where you at, Cheddar Man? Here we go. Man on the left was found in England. Okay? So it is, as they did research, they discovered the first man, as far back as they've been able to go. Now, I'm not an evolutionist, so I'm a creationist, so they don't date it the way that I do, but nevertheless, the first man that they find in Russia had black skin. Sungur man, he was just about, I think it was 60 miles outside of Moscow, so way up there. Ukraine, a black man. All throughout that area. And it makes total sense. It's just not the narrative that's been shared with us over the years. It makes total sense. So when you say that they believe that these first folks that had blue eyes are the ones that they've discovered at this point, that they had blue eyes, when you make that statement, that doesn't do anything to the discussions that we've been having, because we know the original people that were in those areas were black. Black-skinned people. Y'all know what I mean by that by now. I'm not talking about black folks like African Americans. I'm talking about black-skinned people that were in those territories first. Are you following me? So this is no issue for us. When you see young black kids or adults that don't have any kind of ailment, but they have blue eyes. All right, you guys know how I crop pictures, right? All of that is so that you can go back, especially if you look at it on YouTube, and you can review my sources. Because I don't be playing. I ain't gonna just Google something. So when we start trying to take a look at why this is happening, we don't We don't have perfect answers for it. But blue eyes arose, or why, I got the voice things up, but I can't see the first couple of words. Blue eyes arose has always been something of a genetic mystery until now, according to a team of researchers from Copenhagen University, a single mutation which arose as recently as 6,000 to 10,000 years ago was responsible for all the blue-eyed people alive on Earth today. The team, whose research is published in the Journal of Human Genetics, identified, and here it is again, a single mutation in the gene called ACA2. Some of this is redundant, but on purpose, which arose by chance somewhere around the northwest coast of the Black Sea in one single individual about 8,000 years ago. So some of these things are Waardenburg syndrome. And some of them it's just a natural mutation because melanin, the P protein, was not released at a level high enough to make their eyes brown. So in other words, if I'm understanding this right, everybody's eyes should be brown. It's determined by the amount of melanin that's released in it. You need a minute? Help me out, buddy. Need a minute? The black man was the first man on earth. One of the worst things that has ever happened. The biggest lie that has destroyed history and affected many lives, made slavery easier, and all kinds of other types of discrimination and oppression came out of something that is easy to figure out. Dirt is not white. And Adama, which means earth, the first man, Adam, was made from dirt. This is actually Ethiopian dirt, which is where I believe the Garden of Eden is. But it don't matter where else you go. It's dirt. It's got color. And we have to rewrite this stuff. We have to get to the truth. So that you'll have people, not only people not rejecting the gospel, but just in life, people, one group thinking they're superior to another. None of that's true. It's not God. But it is important to understand that black man, the father of civilization, is proven by biblical history. Understanding what names mean and places where these events occurred. Understanding, that what the Bible has always been saying, when you understand those connections, science, DNA evidence is now proving, yes, these people had black skin. Time to undo the lies, folks. Not so that one group can be superior to another, but certainly so that they're clear that God has included everybody. Because the goal in the end is that we know how to walk in harmony. Okay, I want to remind you real quick. If you've got a hero or a heroine, easiest way is Jackie Jackson Messenger. That's the easiest way to leave me a message, right? But you can also go to www.jackiejacksonministries.com and leave a message there and just give me the name, short synopsis of the story, and a picture that goes along with it. Hope you're blessed. Hope your knowledge is increased. You hold on again to what you've learned. Again, we'll do a kind of an overview of what we've been talking about next week and finish this up so we can move on to some other things. May the Lord bless you. We'll see you on Wednesday, actually. All right. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.